The Traitor Within is really interesting and definitely worth watching if it sounds like your kind of thing. This was released in 1946. It's about a 10-minute animated short film directed by George Gordon and written by Norman Wright, and it's produced by John Sutherland Productions. And it was distributed by the American Cancer Society, and it is all about cancer, which is obviously a very heavy topic, but it presents the inside of the body, and we have these little cells that look like little workers in a factory, which is rather adorable, actually, very well animated. And it details what happens to the body, or what potentially could happen to the body, when cancer occurs. And it points out different symptoms. Obviously, it's talking about cancer generically rather than anything specific. So the symptoms are quite varied, but it points out things that one should really look out for, and it really stresses the importance of going to see a doctor if you notice any of these symptoms. And I think it helps to make things a little clearer, a little easier to understand, because even medical professionals obviously don't fully understand cancer because it's such a bizarre thing that can happen in many cases without any identifiable cause. But within the context of this little 10-minute short, it details things quite clearly and in a way that's easy to digest. It very effectively stresses the seriousness, but without making it seem terrifying. Because if, like me, you're too scared of ever finding out that there's something wrong, then you'll avoid going to get an appointment because you don't want to find out, you don't want to deal with a scary situation. But this helps provide hope that actually there are treatments, there are things that can help. Go and get a checkup, see what's going on. And I think they get the balance right of being informative and not sugarcoating things without making it seem so scary and terrifying that people won't want to go and get an appointment. So the balance there is pretty great. I think the 10-minute length is pretty ideal. It goes into a nice amount of detail without getting overly complicated. I don't think anybody watching it would feel overwhelmed or bombarded with the amount of information. And the animation itself it's quite simple, actually. It's not too fussy, which I don't mind. I quite like simple, straightforward animations a lot more than really busy, fussy animations. And that obviously helps to make things quite clear, and everything's done very well in the sense that when they're talking about a particular symptom, they're circling a body part for a very simple but effective visual aid. And I think this could be particularly important because maybe so today, but particularly in the 40s, I would imagine that people might not be as aware about where cancer can affect. Obviously, it can affect pretty much anywhere in the body. And by highlighting all of these different areas, it's encouraging the viewer to look out for symptoms affecting virtually any part of the body. So I thought that was very effective as well. It's informative, it's educational, it's always really fascinating to watch these older medical animations because the way they talk about medical conditions can sometimes change over the decades as obviously there's a greater knowledge of the condition or changes in treatments and advances in medicine. And this one is still pretty much relevant to today. I thought it was really interesting. The animation is really simple but really effective. The narration is great. I'm not entirely sure who narrates it because that information isn't on IMDb, but I thought it was pretty good. If you like medical-based animations, and particularly much older medical-based animations, then The Traitor Within is one that I certainly think is worth checking out.